really liked me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, he sort of, that relationship busted up.
Everyone was bugged. And that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians.
Diddy getting arrested. Yeah, that was always bound to happen. Everyone saw it coming. But here's the real plot twist. Turns out he might have just been a tiny pawn in a giant game of chess he thought he could win. He aimed high, went after athletes, preachers, celebs, and even allegedly, the president himself. And well, spoiler alert, the game played him instead.
Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy.
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
He expects.
Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that
Oh,
question.
well, I
don't
think
know.
he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Now, the Sean Diddy Combs investigation. New surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week.
Where does this all come from? The proof was always right there in front of us. All we had to do was put the dots together.
So when this happened, when the raid went down, everybody thought Diddy was running. Everybody thought he was going to go to a country that doesn't extradite. And they were kind of comparing it to like Russell Simmons. How Russell Simmons went to a country too.
Right.
What'd you think?
Well, I think that he wasn't going to go no. They knew where he was at. They got your phones tapped. They're going to stop your flights or whatever. They knew exactly where he was at. I don't think that when they have a warrant, a search warrant for residence is not for a body. If they had one for a body, they would have brought it in. Now, if they would have went there and they found guns, drugs, and Diddy was there, they would have brought him in. You know what I'm saying? They would have brought him in. Like they brought his sons in. And then they want to know, well, why are these unlicensed guns in the house? Who drugs do these belong to? All those things like that. But a lot of people probably believe that, you know, they just want to know, and the government want to know what things those people were doing on those tapes and who was doing shit on those tapes. Because I heard they found like 250 cameras or something like that.
That's what they say. They said they found a lot of cameras.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians. You know, I think even Little Rod said that Diddy had every room taped and bugged.
Right. Well, in his affidavit or his deposition that he gave to the courts, he said every room was bugged. And that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians. And like I said, in other platforms, people that was in the ministry. Allegedly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if the feds got their hands on these tapes, you could very well see like a domino effect of coming down on everybody.
It depends on what's on the tape.
One-time bodyguard of Diddy has stepped up with some shocking claims about what actually happened at the music mogul's parties. According to him, Diddy kept secret tapes of politicians, princes, and even preachers who showed up
being shopped around, a Diddy and another male. They say the other male is an A-list celebrity.
I would wonder if he's white or black. And if I'm looking at any black guys that are A-listers that's bigger than Diddy, is only one that I could come up with. And there's a few I could come up with. Will Smith. He's bigger than Diddy. I would think Nick Cannon is bigger than Diddy. Who else on the black that are black actors or black in the business that's an A-lister that's bigger than Diddy that's black? That's hard to think. But then if you got the A-listers, you know, you got to realize he ran with that that Rat Pack. And I don't want him to say their names, but they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner? What's the other guy? Leonardo? Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats. But I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him. And him doing some things with some other people. So there's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing. And I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
A YouTube interview with The Art of Dialogue. Deal exposed just how far Diddy's alleged actions may have gone. Deal said,
Like they might be worried that they might be on tape at one of Diddy parties doing something they wasn't supposed to be doing.
I think that the celebrities that may be worried is because what Lil Rob said. Lil Rob said in his affidavit that Diddy had every room taped and bugged. Diddy had, can you imagine? He had every room taped and bugged, and they found little bugs or little tape recorders. Those micro projectors or whatever like that, or video cameras. They found them in the house, bro. So by them having those things in the house, and people know there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's loose women, there's loose men, woman on woman, man on man. They just wondering who or when they're going to let this stuff be known, if it's on videotape.
No, they got to be shook, man, after finding out he was recording everything.
But not only celebrities, I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there.
You personally, you think they got tapes?
Well, my personal opinion that if Lil Rob could be trusted and his statements are true, they got him. They got
when asked why Diddy's media team stayed silent about the accusations, Deal hinted they either joined in on what went down or feared it could ruin their brand. The first option has now been confirmed as true.
I was excited. I mean, look, this man is one of the most powerful, one of the most influential. So it meant a lot to me to actually have the opportunity to work with somebody of that magnitude. We had a laundry list of items that needed to be with us at all times. You know, we'd have the marijuana joints on us. We would have the mushrooms on us. We had a kind of a Diddy pack is what they would call it. And we would keep a satchel on us, and that's what we would have in that satchel.
Always on call, Phil witnessed many things he now wishes he hadn't. He says he worked on the periphery of Diddy's now infamous parties known as freak-offs, although he knew them by another name.
They were referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil, Astroglide, candles, incense, liquor, lights, tons of toiletries, drugs.
Phil wasn't in the room for the parties, but he didn't have to be. He knew exactly what went on behind closed doors because one of his jobs was deleting the very incriminating videos of the Wild King Nights from his boss's iPhones and iPads.
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and, smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, like, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks. It's every day, every hour.
Hey, yo, Phil, can y'all come straighten it up over here? I'm not looking luxurious.
Sane. Another interview. Deal dug deeper into the federal probe. He said that after Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, prosecutors were likely to get involved because parts of her filing hinted at criminal acts. Deal claimed that once those details went public, investigators could use them to build a case. As the raids happened, rumors swirled that Diddy might try to flee the country. But Deal shut that down, saying federal agents already knew his exact location. He added the raids weren't meant to arrest Diddy right away, but to gather evidence. Reports later claimed investigators discovered hundreds of cameras in his houses, sparking talk that Diddy had secretly recorded his guests.
You think certain politicians, you think certain actors, actresses, they drink and smoke and we know they love pink cocaine. You know they got weed all in the air. They dropping ecstasy pills. They dropping some other kind of sexual pill. Man, do you think he ain't got nobody on tape, bruh? So now, can y'all go get those tapes? If he was blackmailing Cassie and Cassie's mother had to give him $20,000 for her tapes allegedly, you think he ain't bribing nobody else? Or people ain't worried about that that they got to do business with him because they know what they did at the Diddy party? So those tapes was important. And the federal government, when they showed some of the stuff that was happening in there, you could see the jury.
IFA's investigation is still ongoing, but if Deal's claims are true, this story could grow much bigger and pull in a lot more names.
You do fantastically well.
Yes.
Just tremendous. You really, it takes a tough guy. Hey, it takes the brains and it takes the this.
Yeah.
But it also takes a toughness.
Yeah, I go to bed like 4 o'clock.
Well, I really like.
Now, there's plenty of talk about whether Donald Trump has a hand in keeping Diddy locked up. Some think Trump is refusing to help because of things Diddy said about him years ago. It wasn't always this way back then. Trump and Diddy were spotted at the same parties, even calling each other friends. But once Trump stepped into politics, everything shifted. In a 2017 interview, Diddy said he didn't care about Trump, and by 2020, he went further, saying white men like Trump should be banished and calling Trump's removal from office the top priority.
This man is elected. We're not standing by no more getting. We're not scared of anybody standing up and standing by. We're on the verge of a race war. White men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking is real dangerous. Mm-hmm. When you look at it, we don't have no choice. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You can say what you want about Biden. I can't say I love to pick either, but hey, we got.
Those old comments are now making the rounds again. In a recent Newsmax interview, Trump said he thinks Diddy is half innocent after his federal conviction in July. Still, he admitted pardoning Diddy would be harder because of what Diddy said about him years ago. Trump explained, "When I ran for office, he was very hostile. It makes it more difficult to do." This has fueled speculation that Trump might be using Diddy's case to settle old grudges while also taking heat off his own legal troubles. After all, Trump has often pardoned allies and supporters, sometimes as a way to challenge the justice system. But with Diddy, Trump seems reluctant, and Gene Deal believes that's because Trump fears what Diddy might reveal.
Y'all heard the same thing that I heard. When they raided his house, y'all saw the same thing I saw. They took computers, tapes. You think wasn't nothing on those tapes, y'all? You think they didn't log those tapes? Why did they, hold up. Yo, I just caught a jewel. They used the tape that Cassie sent them. That Cassie had. They used the tape that Cassie had that they showed to the jurors. Why do you think they didn't use the tape that they got from Diddy house?
because that would have them had to log that in. It would have been public record. And at one given time, when it's a public record out of this trial, you could go see it. You could go get those tapes, copies of those tapes, because it's public record. It would have been public record, bro. It's a dirty game out here, man. It's a real dirty game. They are protecting somebody. Why did Damian Wim, the first prosecutor, he trying to put it off on Trump? Oh, Mr. Trump is coming in office, so I'm going to leave before he get here. Right after he did the Diddy, right after he did the Diddy raid, right after they got the tapes and everything, he retired. Great job. Probably got $1 million house and all that somewhere. Because he definitely quit. And tried to put that shit off on Trump. Y'all saw what I saw. Y'all saw what we saw, the same shit. Y'all heard the same thing that I heard. They took over 256, cameras and who had that many cameras in their house? I don't give how big the mansion is. It's crazy, man. It's dirty work. Listen, I know it's deeper than what we see. I know it's
Diddy awaiting his October sentencing. The big question is whether Trump will keep him locked up as payback, or if public pressure will push him to act differently. Either way, Trump's remarks have people questioning if this is really about justice or more about personal grudges and about Trump shifting the spotlight off himself while Diddy and Charlie Kirk dominate the headlines, especially with the Epstein story heating up again in recent weeks.
Developments in Trump's growing Epstein scandal. Lawyers for the Epstein estate submitted the convicted offender's so-called birthday book to members of the House Oversight Committee. Those documents were released by the committee just minutes ago. This afternoon, Democrats on the panel have posted what appears to be Trump's lewd birthday letter to Epstein, originally reported by the Wall Street Journal this July. It has not been obtained by NBC News. The letter features an imagined conversation between Trump and Epstein in which Trump tells him, "May every day be another wonderful secret." Before the letter's publication, Trump insisted it never existed, even sued the Wall Street Journal for billions of dollars. And yet, the White House is doubling down, with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt insisting Trump neither drew nor signed the picture, adding that Trump would still pursue his defamation suit against the Wall Street Journal. But this letter, it is just one part of a bigger picture.
Here we have the evidence, and they're now saying, oh, this is all made up, it's a Democratic hoax. But what it says to me, aside from what, Caroline Leavitt has to say standing in front of the podium, we know she's shilling for Trump and she will lie for him. But we see this with our own eyes. We know by now Donald Trump's signature. Not too many people can forge that signature. And you mean to tell me people were forging that signature back in the day for Donald Trump? I mean, so all the credibility around this that they're trying to strip away isn't working. The question for me is, and I'm wondering if it's the same for you, is how much this affirms the nature of the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Because I know if I'm sending someone something like that, they are bro. We run hard together. We got jokes. We got inside jokes. We know things about each other that we don't talk about in loud spaces. That's what that drawing says to me. That there's a relationship here that Donald Trump just does not want the curtain peeled.
Live through these things and hear your elders in the business, people like Patti LaBelle say, just avoid him, honey. And being taught to be just avoid him, honey. It's not good enough. Not when you live through these things, you're still suffering the PTSD created by all of this, and you're talking to a victim that's 20 years younger than you, and she's telling you the exact same thing that happened to you. So you want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punched.
And Diddy isn't the only target here. Many now believe his downfall isn't just about what he did, but about powerful figures who wanted him gone. Singer Jaguar Wright, who's been calling Diddy out for years, sat down with Piers Morgan and didn't hold back. She called him one of the most dangerous people she's ever met, even labeling him the devil. But she also hinted at something bigger, that Diddy knew too much about too many people. And once it seemed like he might work with the FBI, those same powerful names allegedly turned against him.